the way of peace. So if you feel like doing the actions, you're going to need to stand up for this one. If you don't feel like doing the actions and you don't want to stand up, that's okay. But everybody else who's willing, and all those kids out there, stand up and do the actions with me. Walk. Oh, let us sing, la la la. Oh, let us speak, amen. In the way of peace, a child will be born to bring peace on earth. It starts with me and you today. Oh, let us speak, hello. Oh, let us dance, cha cha cha. Oh, let us breathe. In the way of peace, a child will be born to bring peace on earth. It starts with me and you today. Let us do everything we can do to bring peace between me and you and everyone we meet. Oh, let us wink. Oh, let us wave. Oh, let us wiggle. In the way of peace, a child will be born to bring peace on earth. It starts with me and you today. Oh, let us shout, hooray! Oh, let us clap. Oh, let us march. In the way of peace, a child will be born to bring peace on earth. It starts with me and you today. It starts with me and you today. Good job. Next we have Love Like That. So in this one, we have God gives the sun and the rain to everybody, good and bad. So thumbs up and thumbs down. Jesus said, if we only love people who love us back, then we're not doing anything special, 'cause the whole world does that. Jesus said, God gives sun and rain to everybody, good and bad. And if we want to follow in Jesus' way, we need to love like that. Jesus said, love enemies. That's when we're acting like his family. Choosing love shows who we are, especially when others make loving them hard. Jesus said, if we only love people who love us back, then we're not doing anything special, 'cause the whole world does that. Jesus said, God gives sun and rain to everybody, good and bad. And if we want to follow in Jesus' way, we need to love like that. Jesus said, love enemies. That's when we're acting like his family. Choosing love shows who we are, especially when others make loving him hard. Jesus said, if we only love people who love us back, then we're not doing anything special, 'cause the whole world does that. Jesus said, God gives sun and rain to everybody, good and bad. And if we want to follow in Jesus' way, we need to love like that. And if, whoops, that's it. We do occasionally make mistakes. Yes. Thank you guys for singing along. All right. This one you can go ahead and sit down for. Ready? This is love the Lord your God. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment, and the second is like it. Oh, love your neighbor as you love yourself. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment, and the second is like it. Oh, love your neighbor as you love yourself. All right. So, this morning we're doing our 5th day of Bible school, and every day of Bible school, the kids and teachers took a look at a different day. I better not go too close to that speaker. Every day, we look at a different continent every day. So we started with Africa, and we learned about a peacemaker in Africa. And then we went to North America, and we've been to Asia. And let me look at my list of other continents. We've also been to Europe, and today's peacemaker story is actually from South America. So we have a whole world, though of course we didn't make it to Antarctica or Australia. But there are peacemakers in Antarctica, and I bet you could, if you looked hard enough, you could even find a story from Antarctica. Did I say Australia, Antarctica? I don't know. Anyway, we have peacemakers all over the world, and we have a song that is our theme song for Bible school. So if you think about a passport, to travel you need a passport. And so we have the passport to peace. So imagine that your hand is a passport. I learned sign language for a passport. So you have your passport opened up in your hand, and when you go somewhere, you get it stamped. And so the sign language for passport is you have your open palm and you stamp it twice. Once for going in, once for going out. And then you can open it up. So put your hands together like a book and open it up. So grab your passport to peace. And then sign language for peace, the kids have learned this all week. So you go this way, and then you spread your hands out. So it's this. So grab your passport to peace. There's a lot of other signs too. Kids, if you want to stand up, that's fine. Grown-ups, if you want to stay sitting down, that's okay too. But this one, the kids would get really energetic on singing it. So let's sing our theme song of Passport to Peace. Grab your passport to peace, passport to peace. Here, there, anywhere, God's love will lead us. Round the world or just down the street, grab your passport, passport to peace. We refuse to hate, we refuse to fight. We will speak up for what is right. We will talk it out. We will listen well. We will share God's love and offer help. Grab your passport to peace, passport to peace. Here, there, anywhere, God's love will lead us. Round the world or just down the street, grab your passport, passport to peace. Sorry. We can make make new friends. We can say how we feel. We can offer a hand or share a meal. We can ask for help when things are so wrong. We can join in God's story. We can join in that song. Grab your passport to peace, passport to peace. Here, there, anywhere, God's love will lead us. Round the world or just down the street, grab your passport, passport to peace. Sometimes God's way of peace is saying sorry. Sometimes God's way of peace is saying stop. Sometimes God's way of peace is asking for help. Sometimes it's letting our anger drop. Sometimes God's way of peace is saying sorry. Sometimes God's way of peace is saying stop. Sometimes God's way of peace is asking for help. Sometimes it's letting our anger drop. Grab your passport to peace, passport to peace. Here, there, anywhere, God's love will lead us. Round the world or just down the street, grab your passport, passport to peace. Grab round the world or just down the street, grab your passport, passport to peace. All right. I saw a bunch of kids doing the actions with energy. I hope all of you got to see somebody close by. One of the most fun things at Bible school for me was the preschool dancers right in the front. They were always fun to watch. Gave me energy too. So, all right. So as we think about going around the world with peace, our offering was to help us, or to help a church in Iquitos, Peru. And I haven't seen Linda. There she is. So Linda's going to come up and tell us about that.
Yes, the offering project for Summer Bible School was supporting Elena and Freddy Satalaya in Iquitos, Peru, in the ministry there with children. It's a Mennonite Mission Network project. Elena is from Harrisonburg, Virginia, and Freddie from Iquitos, Peru. And they are married and have a young son. And the churches in Iquitos, Peru began through a children's ministry. And working with children continues to be a very important part of what the church does in Iquitos, Peru. They have a big Saturday program in 3 different neighborhoods. And the children come and they have really active worship. It is strenuous to worship with them. You need water bottles. The children are so excited to be together worshiping God. And then they have a craft activity, a Bible story, and a lunch together. That's every Saturday in 3 different locations. So some of the money goes for the craft supplies, some of it goes for the food, for the meals also. And Elena also teaches English. During the pandemic, Iquitos, like many parts of the world, tried to do virtual education, but it didn't work very well. The children were using their parents' cell phones and got pretty far behind with their studies. And so Elena's been helping them to learn English. It's one of their subjects in school. She's been helping with other subjects too. So that's with the school-age children. And the children live in the neighborhoods where the churches are located, but one of these neighborhoods is on an island. And when it rains hard and the river rises, I wonder if any of the children who are listening can tell us how the children get to church. Okay, I see some hands up. Yes, go ahead. Yes, they use boats. We saw a picture of the children rowing these small boats to get to church. When they're very young, they learn how to row a boat. And some of the money also goes for hiring boats because some of the littlest children can't come in their own boat. And anytime they want to go and get together with the other children in the other churches, they also need to pay for a boat to cross the big river. So that's what the offering project was. We're really excited that the children brought money to be able to support this ministry with Mennonite Mission Network in Iquitos, Peru. And it's very good to be here this morning. It's wonderful to look across the park and to see people from the different Mennonite churches here in Newton. And that's what they do in Iquitos too. They have these joint worship services where people from the three churches are able to get together and worship God. So thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, the kids got super excited about our offering project this year. And I'm going to go out of camera for just a minute. Sorry. I need to grab the suitcases here. So we would collect our offering in a suitcase every day. And we're going to try to do this again today, which means I need 3 kids who will help. Let's see if we have some that have not volunteered to read or otherwise. So come on up. You want to come? Are you reading? So I need 3 kids. Yeah, come on. Come on. Okay, here we have 3. All right. So the kids are going to drive around these suitcases. We always made the kids just come up, but I realize that might be a little harder for everybody else today. So the kids are going to drive around the suitcases, and they'll all have a pocket open at the front or the top open. So you can just put your offering in there. Let's see. Whoops. Can you drive that one? Yeah, let's see. All right, can you get that one? And everybody will put their offering in right there, okay? And if you can get that one, everybody will put their offering in right there, okay? Whoops. Let's set that close. Okay. All right. So if you can find that, kids go ahead and go different directions, and if parents want to help them out, that'd be great. So the kids managed to bring in more than $200 to give to the church in Iquitos because they really wanted the kids to be able to have all the cool craft supplies and be able to have like their Bible school book kinds of things, and they wanted them to be able to have maybe some game supplies for recreation. So we're going to go ahead and sing our offering song while they're coming around for a better place. But I don't know. The kids brought in about $250-ish. And if you see the doves over there, that represents all the money they brought in. Linda Gartner had to keep on making more doves because they kept on bringing in more money than we expected. So let's see. I don't know if you guys can beat the kids or not with how much money we bring in for the church in Iquitos today, because the kids were doing awesome. So let's go ahead and sing A Better Place while we're collecting the offering. Ooh. God is making this world a better place. God is making this world a better place. ahead and raise your hand if you didn't get a chance to put your offering in, since we were collecting it kind of. Oh, there's one there at the back. And some over here. So there and here. All right. So when we are finished collecting all of those, when the suitcases have finished collecting, if you want to bring the suitcases back up toward the sound booth with the tent over here when we're done. I know we still need a suitcase over there, and I think I see some of them coming your way. All right, I think we are ready for scripture readers. So if you are, I think, 4th and 5th, or, well, going into 5th and 6th grade, something like that. If you were one of the people who was asked to read scripture, go ahead and come up here to these microphones, and we'll see if we can get them adjusted so you can talk to them. And offering is still coming over. All right. Who reads first? Who's first? You are? Okay. Why don't you come over here?
Yep, go ahead.
On one occasion, an expert in the law stood up to test Jesus. Teacher, he said, what must I do to inherit eternal life?
What is written in the law? He replied. How do you read it?
He answered, love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your strength, and with all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself.
You have answered correctly, Jesus replied. You will do this and you will live.
But he wanted to justify himself, so he asked Jesus, and who is my neighbor?
In reply, Jesus said, a man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho. When he was attacked by robbers, they stripped him of his clothes, beat him, and went away, leaving him half dead.
A priest happened to be going down the same road. When he saw the man, he passed by on the other side.
So too a Levite, when he came to the place and saw him, passed by on the other side.
But a Samaritan, as he traveled, came to where the man was, and when he saw him, he took pity on him. He went to him and bandaged his wounds, pouring on oil and wine. Then he put the man on his own donkey, brought him to an inn, and took care of him. The next day he took out 2 denarii and gave them to the innkeeper. Look after him, he said, and when I return, I will reimburse you for any extra payment you may have.
Which of these 3 do you think was a neighbor to the man who fell into the hands of robbers?
The expert in the law replied, the one who had mercy on him.
Jesus told him, go and do likewise.
Right. Thank you so much for reading. Great job, readers. So the next thing that we have is a drama. Maybe I can get my microphone back on. All right, there we go. So the next thing we have is a drama, so we're going to need just a second to get that set up. So while my actors are getting set, well, you'll just have to go without a shoe then. All right, so we have thinking about crossing a road. Raise your hand if you have ever crossed a road. There's some people who aren't raising their hands. I'm wondering how you've avoided that. Raise your hand if you've ever heard a joke about a chicken crossing a road. All right? And today's skit talks about people crossing roads. I wonder why. Is it to get to the other side? Is it, I don't know. I can't think of any other punchlines right now for the chicken cross the road jokes. So, to set the scene for you a little bit, so I realize there's a tree in the middle of our pond. There's also this big muddy area that I'm sure was a pond at one point, so that's our pond. Okay, so we're in a park, and my actors can take it away from there.
Have you seen my dog? His name is Harvey, and he's about this tall and this long, and he looks like a lab painted like a beagle. I haven't seen him. Do you see him?
No, sorry, we haven't seen a lost dog.
Do you think we should go look for the dog?
No, let's stay here. I really don't like dogs very much. Cats are better. Speaking of animals, I just read this part in this comic book. Hey, look. That person just threw the frisbee into the pond. How are they going to get it out?
Don't worry. They can just borrow the net from the person who is fishing.
I guess, but they don't seem to see them.
No, they'll figure it out. It's not our problem. Here's your comic book back. I'll have to read the whole thing sometime. Oh no! The runner just knocked that person over off the stool. They are both hurt. We should go over there. Maybe they need an ambulance. I have my phone with me.
No, that's not a good idea. It looks like one of them is bleeding, and I hate seeing blood. Someone else will help.
No one else sees it. I don't know. Maybe you're right. We really can't do much. I guess they will be okay.
Hey friends, here are the drinks I promised I would get you. Finally found some. I hope those will be tasty for you. Hey, did I miss anything while I was gone getting those?
Well, someone lost a dog, someone threw a frisbee in the fountain, and 2 people got hurt.
Wow, you two must have been really busy helping all of those people. Did you find the dog or get the frisbee, or how are the people who were hurt?
Well, we decided it'd be better if we just stayed here.
Ah, I see. Well, this reminds me of a story that I just heard, and because I'm churchy and a pastor, I'm going to tell you about it. So, there was a man who came to Jesus and said, "What do I need to do to live forever? The law says I must love God with my heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love my neighbor as myself." "Yes," said Jesus, "love God, love your neighbor as yourself, and you will live." But the man wanted to test Jesus. "Who is my neighbor? Who do I have to love?" Jesus told him a story. He said a man was going to Jericho, from Jerusalem to Jericho, and thieves came along. They took the man's clothes, they hit him, and they left him to die. Then a priest came down the road, and he saw the man laying there, but he crossed to the other side of the road and kept going. The hurt man was all alone yet again. Then a Levite came by. Surely the Levite will help, right? But the Levite saw the man and too crossed the road to the other side and went away. Then a Samaritan came by and saw the man. And his heart, it was filled with love. He knelt down and put bandages on the man. He put the guy who was beat up on his own donkey and took him to an inn where the Samaritan man could stay with him overnight. Then the next day he gave the innkeeper money and asked him to take care of this man, and that he will be back to pay for anything that the hurt man needs. Jesus then asked the man, who was his neighbor? Was it the priest or the Levite or the Samaritan? The man said, it was the one who took care of him, the Samaritan. Jesus said, go and be like that Samaritan.
So the Samaritan man helped someone he didn't even know?
He did. It would have been easy for him to just walk by like the priest and the Levite did, but he did not do that. His heart was filled with love and compassion instead, and that gave him the courage to help.
It's not always easy or fun to help other people, and now that I think about it, we missed some chances to help people today.
Yeah, you did. But keep watching. There are a lot of people in this park. I wouldn't be surprised if you got another chance.
Look, the chain fell off that person's bike. That used to happen to me all the time. I know how to fix it. This is our chance to help. Let's go.
Yes, thank you to all of our actors and actresses who put on that story for us, really put it in a new perspective for a lot of us. Well, good morning. I would like to add my greetings to you this morning. My name is Pastor Luke Unruh. I am one of the pastors at First Mennonite Church, and I was in charge of helping lead Bible Beach today. And so, like I said, we're all so glad that you're here. And so this past week in our Bible school, we traveled a little bit all over the world. We went to Bible Beach, Creator Canyon, and Move It Mountain on 5 different continents, as Tammy mentioned before. Africa, North America, Asia, Europe, and today, South America. And so in each of these places, we heard stories of peacemakers on each continent. And this morning, we will give you a brief glimpse of what Bible Beach looks like now during our worship time. And then later, we will have activities that will be active, inspired by Move It Mountain playing on the playground, and I saw a Frisbee that we could run around with. And we'll have a craft over back here, which is inspired by the Creator's Canyon. And so during the beginning of each Bible Beach session, we would have an activity that would help us focus on the theme of peace. And one way to find peace is to find it within ourselves. And so I would like us all to partake in centering around inner peace now. So I invite you all to sit comfortably and close your eyes and take in a deep, slow, gentle breath. Imagine yourself walking somewhere that is quiet, and think about what is peaceful about this place where you were walking. Now imagine that Jesus is walking beside you, not speaking, only quietly walking next to you. Now imagine telling Jesus one thing that you are worried about, or something that upsets you right now. Or if you are having a great day, imagine telling Jesus how happy you are. And now imagine Jesus looking you in your eyes and saying, I love you. I am always with you. You can now open up your eyes again. Thank you all for participating with us in this activity that kind of centers peace within ourselves. And so now at this time, I would like to invite all of the children to come forward to kind of sit in this area. We're going to have a little bit more interactive, kind of like we did with Bible Beach. And so I invite all of the children to come forward and have a seat here on the grass. I think it's dried out a little bit with the sun. And so as they're making their way up here, I would like to introduce this Peacemaking Wheel to you all. There we go. That Pastor Laura here is going to hold up. On this wheel are 16 different strategies on how we can choose peace in various interactions. Some of the options include say stop, offer to help, talk and listen, refuse to fight, and surprise someone with kindness, among others. We reference this wheel each day after discussing our Bible story, after which we asked which strategies were used in this Bible story. We again referenced it after we read our Peacemaker story from each of our continents. And we even played a game of charades with some of these strategies on here. And so, children, I know you were all listening very well to the skit and to our scripture reading to know about the story of the Good Samaritan. And so, after looking at this wheel, which peacemaker strategies do you think were used? Surprise someone with kindness. Good. Take action when someone is hurt. That's good. Consider the feelings and needs of others. Refuse to fight. That's a good one. Offer to help. Love. That's right. That's right. Let's do two more. Respect everyone. Speak up for what is right. That is really good. Yeah. Thank you all for answering that. As we can see throughout many of our stories, there are multiple ways that we can make peace in all of our interactions, as we saw in our story again today.
Hand this to you. All right. So this is our time to help teach the adults about some of the awesome Bible stories and kid peacemaker stories we heard at Bible school this week. So I wonder if any of you remember a Bible story or a kid peacemaker story that used the peacemaking strategy, refuse to fight. Xavier. Yeah, Joshua and the food pantry. Yes. Joshua's Heart was a story of a young boy from Miami, Florida, who started his own food pantry that is run by kids. All right. Yes, we're remembering the story of the Christmas truce that we read from World War I, when the German soldiers and the English soldiers got up out of their trenches and celebrated Christmas together with soccer games and Christmas carols. That's a great refuse to fight story. And sharing gifts, yeah. One more refuse to fight story. Yeah, there was a camping skit that we heard where two girls were camping together and they got kind of annoyed at each other, but they found a peaceful solution. They, I think, learned to share some things and give each other turns. How about the strategy make new friends? Did we have any stories that used the strategy make new friends? The one today, I bet the Samaritan and the man who was hurt became friends. How about over here? The Christmas truce, yeah, they made new friends, definitely. Yeah, another vote for Christmas truce. How about, do you remember the story of Philip and who was it? Yeah. I was thinking Philip and the Ethiopian. Remember, they were from very different places, and they made friends. They talked to each other about the Bible, and then the Ethiopian decided he wanted to be baptized. Yeah. How about Also making new friends, do you remember the story of the boy from Tanzania who started the Facebook groups on the computer so that people from different religions could talk to each other with kindness and respect? That was another make new friends. You've got an idea. The story with King Abimelech? Yes. Yeah, the story of the wells. That was a refuse to fight story and a make new friends story. King Abimelech was jealous of Isaac and told him to move away. So Isaac moved away, he dug new wells, and then more neighbors came and fought with him over the wells, and he moved again. He kept refusing to fight, moving on, until finally he found a place where nobody fought with him about his wells. And then King Abimelech came to him and said, "Hey, let's be friends. Let's make a peace agreement." And at the very end of that story, they used another peacemaker strategy. Someone over here said they had a big feast, eating together. That's a peacemaker strategy. All right, let's see if we've missed anyone. How about consider the feelings and needs of others? Here's your hint. I'm going to give you a hint. Bah. Yeah, the story Jesus told about the sheep and the goats. And the sheep found all these ways to care for people, feeding those that are hungry, and getting water for those who are thirsty, visiting the sick and the people in prison, welcoming the stranger. Those are all ways of caring for the needs and feelings of others. And the goats were, meh, no, they didn't do those things. And sometimes we're like sheep, sometimes we're like goats. But we always can try again and look for new ways to care for the needs and feelings of others. Yeah. Okay, I think there's one Bible story we haven't said yet. What about the one with Abigail? Does anyone remember David and Abigail? Yeah. Yes. Yes. David got really angry at Nabal when Nabal refused to give him and his men anything to eat, and David was coming ready to fight, and Abigail went to meet him with donkeys full of good food to share with David and his men. Abigail said, "I am sorry about what happened with Nabal. Would you please take this food?" And then David decided, you know what? I probably shouldn't fight. This works out. Thank you, Abigail, for being so wise. You all had great memories of all those stories. Now we have one last peacemaker story for VBS. We've had peacemaker stories from 4 continents today. Do you remember what? Yeah, Africa was one of them. Today, do you remember what our continent is? South America. It's the same continent our offering is going to, by the way. Iquitos, Peru is in South America. And our peacemaker story is from a different country in South America called Colombia. Got it. All right, here we go. Our peacemaker, her name is Marley Sanchez. She was born near Bogota, Colombia in 1984. So she's about my age now, but this is about something she did when she was your age. When she was 12 years old, her friend was killed by gang members. And after he died, she started a peace club for children. They played soccer with gang members. They put on plays about peace. And their peace club grew and grew. Later, she worked with other children from Colombia to start the Movimiento de los Niños por la Paz, Children's Movement for Peace in Colombia. More than 2.7 million children, that's a lot of kids, voted for the Children's Peace and Rights mandate to show the adults that they wanted to live in a peaceful country. Mayerly taught many children the skills they need to live in a peaceful way. She tells them, peace begins with yourself, with the way you treat your family, your friends, your communities, and your country. But it does not stop there. Peace that begins in the hearts of children can cover the whole world. Mayerly is an adult now, but she is still working to bring peace in Colombia. Now, we have one last peace strategy that we haven't learned about yet at VBS. That's because it's not on our Peacemaker's Wheel. But we're adding it today. It's the peacemaking strategy of say thank you. We say thank you to people, and it helps them to feel appreciated, and it helps us to have good and peaceful relationships with them. So we're going to get your clapping hands ready. We're going to say thank you to all the people that helped us with VBS this week. So first off, thank you to everyone who helped prepare and serve meals. Thank you to everyone who decorated and set up in our space and made sure the building was ready to be used. Yes, and who made the little doves. Thank you to everyone who led worship, did music, provided skits, and did projection and sound. Thank you. Thank you to all the volunteers who planned our Bible Beach, our Creators Canyon, our Move It Mountain, and the early childhood stations, and everyone who helped all the kids get where they needed to go. And finally, thank you parents for bringing your kids and kids for coming and learning how to be such awesome peacemakers. Okay, as one final thank you and sharing of what you've learned, we're going to do Bible verses.
So we will first start. We had 2 Bible verses that we memorized, one for the older kids and one for the younger preschool age kids. And so we will first invite all of the kindergarten through 5th grade students who went around to each station to come forward to say our Bible verse together. This verse comes from Matthew 5, verses 43 to 44, and we have some actions to go along with it. You have heard it was said, love your neighbors and hate your enemies. But I tell you, love your enemies and pray for anyone who mistreats you. This was kind of a verse that was central to all of our stories and themes. So now we'd like to invite all of the preschool students who are up here to come stand and say their verse together. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Everyone, all of you children can go back to your seats now. And we will close out with some final worship and then a time for announcements as well.
Tammy's doing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Thanks. All right. To wrap up, we are going to sing one song that is not from Bible school that will be more familiar to those of you who are older. So it's "We Are People of God's Peace," and the words are on your song sheet. We are people of God's peace as a new creation. Love unites and strengthens us at this celebration. Sons and daughters of the Lord, serving one another. A new covenant of peace binds us all together. We are heralds of God's peace for the new creation. And by grace the word of peace reaches every nation. Though we falter and we fail, Christ will still renew us. By the Holy Spirit's power, God is working through us. We are children of God's peace in this new creation, spreading joy and happiness through God's great salvation. Hope we bring in spirit meek in our daily living, peace with everyone we seek, good for evil giving. We are servants of God's peace, of the new creation. Choosing peace we faithfully serve with heart's devotion. Jesus Christ, the Prince of Peace, confidence will give us. Christ the Lord is our defense. Christ will never leave us. Yes. All right, let me find the right page here. Okay. So, before we do the blessing that we ended every day with, I hope you guys can hear me over the train. We have a few announcements, kind of. We have a few announcements. So, as we leave here, or as we're done right here, before we go straight to eating, there is a game activity plan for Move It Mountain back there. There's a couple cones, and there will be some adults there to explain the activity. And we have Creative Canyon over here. I guess the fence is one side of the canyon, and the shelter house is the other side of the canyon. So, right down the sidewalk, we have the craft activity. Those of you who don't really move it very well and don't want to do anything creative, you're welcome to just sit and visit for a while. But those of you who are beyond the age of 5th grade, you know, most of us, and still like to move it or like to be creative, please join in. And if you just have a little one that you want to follow along, that's great. For the kids, I think we're going to split you up a little bit differently. We're going to try to do about half. And so if we can do like the kids who are about preschool through just finished first grade, maybe. And if you're first grade, you can kind of decide, let's have them start at the craft. And older kids who have already finished second grade and up, go ahead and start at Move It Mountain. And then after you finish playing the game once, or after you finish the craft, then you can kind of switch. We're not going to have a big announcement to switch. So those of you who are leading the activity, if you, like, especially with the Move It Mountain, if the games kind of come to an end, then you say, all right, everybody go over to the craft. And same thing with the craft. If they've finished, you can send them over to Move It Mountain, and we'll just kind of move when it feels right. Those of you who are not a kid that age, you can decide which way to go. And let's see, restrooms, if you need to know, are way over, there's a stone building over there. I can't see it from right here because it's kind of through the playground for me, but it's over there. And then the food is going to be over here. Are there any special instructions? If you want to go ask, yeah, that'd be great. It looks like lots of yummy food is over there. So thank you all for bringing our lunch. We'll look forward to that, but when it is time to eat, we will probably turn on the sound system and make an announcement. So, any other announcements that need to be made to everybody? I just want to add my thank you to everybody who made Bible school happen. I know I'm the one who gets to look really good because I'm standing up here most of the time, but without everybody else, there's no way Bible school could happen.
Yeah, so we'll start at the
Do you want a microphone?
Yep. All right, so we'll start at the north end for food, and just make your way down. There's multiple tables that you can grab many yummy things from, and they said they're ready right away. So if you want to get food right away, you can go ahead and do that, or you can wait a while and play the game and do the activity.
Okay. All right. If I don't see any other announcements, then we will have our blessing. The blessing is printed in your song sheet, but this is just spoken. So, and the kids kind of know the actions. May God's peace be in you. May God's peace be in me. May God's peace fill the world and everyone I meet. And then we have our sending song, which is the song that has the most words. We have a few signs that we used with this because we're singing in English and Spanish, and not everybody knows both languages. So we have justice, and I'm not doing these in order, but justice, you put your hands together like equal and you go in a circle. We have joy. We have hope, which is kind of like those birds fluttering in the tree back there that a lot of you probably have been seeing during worship. Hope. All right. So let's get in as many of the words as you can. If you want to do the signs instead of the words, that's okay too. So go in peace, whichever direction you may choose.